we're challenged to take the message with us out into the communities. So there should be no disconnect between what we hear in the Word of God and what we do in our lives when we leave the church after the celebration of the Eucharist. And while there's nothing wrong with the church of the pew, I think we've come to a point in the church in Ireland where we need to ask serious questions. We need to do serious reflection, and we need to be realistic if the church is to have a future. We live in a society today that is divided. We live in a society that places little value on faith, that places little value on religious practice or belief in God. And I think because of that divided society that we live in, we get caught up as church in an us versus them mentality, where those of us who attend church on a regular basis every week or every day lament the fact that many people don't go to church. And very often, in my experience as I travel around the country, meeting parish councils, preparing for missions, the first thing that the parish council will ask us to do as a mission team, what are you going to do for young people? So young people are often pinpointed as the group of people who don't attend church on a regular basis. And equally, we live in a society where those people who don't attend will say that they don't attend because they find Mass boring, or they might say, I don't get anything out of it, so why would I bother going? So there is a division in our society, and I think that division has crept into the life of the church. And it's not exclusively so, but I think that the division in our church is a division between young and old. The majority of those who attend church on a regular basis, Sunday after Sunday, are of a particular generation. And we only need to look around the church every Sunday to see that, even to look around the church this evening, and we see the huge gap in young people who are here. And I know there are a lot of young people as I look down. But does that mean that because these people, these young people particularly, don't attend Mass on a regular basis, that they've lost their faith? Does it mean that they've given up on God? I don't believe it does. I don't believe that because they're not here Sunday after Sunday, they've given up on faith and that they've given up on God. But what I do believe is this. I believe that if as a church we fail to recognise that many people today, and very often those people who don't attend church on a regular basis, young people, that they express their faith differently. If we don't recognise that they express their faith outside of the context of going to church Sunday after Sunday, then we dismiss the notion that there can be any other models of people witnessing to gospel values, of people practicing their faith in different ways. So dismissing people, complaining because they don't attend Sunday after Sunday, will do very little to bring them back. In fact, I believe it will do quite the opposite, and it will push them further and further away. Pope Francis, since he became Pope over in the last 2 years, has issued many challenges to us as the people of God, as the church. And one of the great challenges that he has put before us as church is to, as he says, to move out of the relative comfort, the relative safety of our churches, of our sacristies, of our pews, and share the gospel to those who are poor, to those who are marginalised, to those who are on the street. And yes, it's a different way of expressing faith to what many of us are used to. But it's not a way of expressing I mentioned at the beginning of the week that one of the jobs that I have in Limerick is working in our secondary school, C.S.R College, a school with over 500 students, all boys. And when many of them, the majority I would suspect, don't go to Mass on a regular basis, they are, over their 6 years in school, exposed to the Catholic ethos. They learn values that we find in the Gospels. They learn values like respect for others. They learn values like helping those who are poor and in need. Values like fair play. Values like justice. And so many other values that we find in the Gospel. They learn all of these during their lifetime in school. And the hope is that when they leave, that they'll carry some or all of those values with them into whatever it is that they do in their lives. No, I'm not naive in thinking that all of the students who leave our school or all of the students who leave any Catholic school throughout the country leave the school wanting to practice their faith openly, to be a saint. But I do believe that deep down what happens while they're in school, when they're exposed to the Catholic ethos, when they're exposed to the values of the Gospel, that seeds are sown, that hopefully will take root when they need them most in their lives. And I would say that working with our young people today is in some sense bringing the church to the streets, because that's where our young people are. They're not in the churches, and it doesn't mean that the only way to reach them is by forcing them back into the churches. That won't work. Sometimes the sowing of the seed is all that can be done, and we leave the rest to the individual, and we leave the rest to the grace of God working in that individual. Last October, I had the privilege of travelling to Brazil with 12 of our fifth-year students and a number of teachers for a house building project in Brazil. The whole school community was involved in fundraising to pay for the cost of building the house in Brazil. And while we were there, we began construction of 17 houses. But while we were there, we also had a number of other experiences. One experience that stands out for me was a visit that we made to a Redemptorist community in the city of Fortaleza. Father Mark Murray and Father Ned Boyd, both Irish Redemptorists, have spent most of their life in Brazil. They're both in their 80s, and they've lived in this community, a favela, a shanty town, near the thriving tourist area of Fortaleza. They've lived there for 19 years, living among the poor and among the marginalised. And they see their presence in this community as about being much more than being there to celebrate Eucharist and to celebrate sacraments. The community that they minister in is so large and so vast that very often they might get to visit those smaller areas of the community once a month. And that's when the Eucharist, the sacraments are celebrated with those people. And what they and what other Redemptorists, what other Brazilian and Irish Redemptorists have managed to do over the years working in communities like this is to build up the communities by helping the people to gain skills, and helping the people to gain confidence to carry on the life of the church in the absence of the priest. This is an example of the church on the streets. And afterwards, when I spoke to the students from our secondary school about their experience, they were there for about 2.5, 3 hours, and they said, almost all of them said that what they heard and what they saw, what they experienced during their 2 hours in that place influenced them more than anything that they'd ever heard or seen in the church in Ireland. Because for them, this was a church in action. For them, this was a church among the people, and a church for the people, and a church on the streets. So whatever way we choose to express our faith, whether it be in the church of the pew, or whether it be the church on the streets, each way is a valid expression of our faith, a valid expression of our belief in God. And each way must be prepared to respect the other for the good and for the future of our church. In the name of the Father,